Hello and welcome to Sound and Vision. As always, I am your host, Ian James, and once again I am joined by the brilliant and beautiful and feeling slightly stalked Miss Hopeway.
I forgot about that. I do have a single white female. Hello, listeners.
Yes. I thought I'd try and catch you off guard with that one.
You did.
Yeah. So, today, episode 22.
Is it 22?
It is.
Oh, wow.
And it is the greatest movies of the decade.
Oh. I know. I feel with all the holidays going on, like it's been forever since we recorded one.
Yeah, I feel rusty.
It is a little rusty, but we'll get back into it.
I feel a little rusty Griswold. Well, yeah. So the decade, meaning 2010 to obviously 2019.
Yes.
As we are here on New Year's Eve doing this.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You can tell like what fun we have in life, right?
Yeah. This is how we spend New Year's, guys. This is how we rock.
Watching movies, but that's the only way I'd have it. Who wants to go to some overpriced party and all that junk, you know?
Yeah, who wants to pay to get in their local boozer?
Yeah, exactly. That you can go tomorrow for free.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. What do we call this decade, by the way, just as I'm just looking at it on paper?
I don't know, but it's the last of the teen decade
Is that
of
what it
our
is?
generation. Because
Teens.
it is the teens decade, but it's a huge deal, the end of a decade.
I know.
That's, 10 years gone.
Does that mean we're going to go back into the 20s, like the roaring 20s?
Oh my god, we need to bring that back, right?
I know, because now we're at an age where you're going to explain to people what you mean by the 20s. What, the 1920s or the 2020s?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
See? Yeah.
But it's just weird that we lived through the teens of a decade.
Yeah. Our teenage years are behind us now, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Properly.
It's not even gonna matter when we die anyway, so there you go.
That was a very positive thought to go out on. So happy New Year, guys. We're all gonna die.
At least it's not 2000 Y2K, you know.
Did you actually just say that?
Is that what it was called?
Y2K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what it was
I
called?
have no idea.
When everybody thought the end of the world was happening.
Oh, the millennium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Y2K.
Oh, Y2K.
I don't even know.
No, I've never used that in my life. So I mean, getting back to
the decade.
Hopefully, what anyone's listening to. Yeah, hopefully they're still listening.
Oh God, yes.
10 years of movies.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're doing today is making a list each of what we consider personal. Let's not everyone
What
jump.
we
Let's not
enjoy.
jump on each other here and all disagree straight away. What we personally consider ourselves to be the 10 best
Standouts.
Yeah, of the last 10 years is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I just want to say before we start reading off the movies, if we were picking, I like to think that if someone was picking like, what's your top 10 movies? Mm-hmm. I see a lot of movies, so there's so many genres that want to be represented. And when we were discussing doing this, I was thinking, wouldn't it just be easier to do a genre? Like, because there's that many of them for me. It's like, if you, like you say, pick 10 horror films, because I don't think, even though a lot of people who listen to this and know me will know, Ian James is going to just fill it with horror films. And I don't think I've got one horror film on my list. So there you go. I don't watch just horror films, people.
I like to say that you're more of the snobby movie fan. And
right.
I am like the fun, all mine's horror. So there you go. Like mine's just all horror. That's just because I enjoy that genre more. Okay. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Even though I do watch other films, and I have a couple on my list, but not as many as I enjoy. So this isn't like, but I think you're a snob with film anyway. Okay. So.
Well, yeah, okay, thanks, Hope. That's a compliment, I think. I think
it is a compliment because you do know a lot of stuff about films and you look at it differently. I think we all look at films differently.
Yeah, for sure.
It is a personal choice of what you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes I'm like, oh, how could somebody watch that one? And then it's like, well, they probably think the same about me. Like, how can you even watch something so disgusting?
Yeah, because I think if somebody else was maybe doing this list now, you might see 10 Avenger films in there. which is, and I'm not, that's fine if that's what you like.
Yeah, it's just not my taste.
No, nor mine. I will say no. But hey-ho, we are all different folks.
But they are made for people, to enjoy it. And some people do really enjoy them, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah, I always say that movies are sort of somewhere between art and entertainment. But they have to do kind of both, or they have to, you have to get something from them, whether it's art or entertainment. And
Yeah.
so don't look down my nose at anything that's just merely trying to entertain.
I know.
And I don't think you should.
No, because we watch everything. Like, we will watch any from, like, trashy exploitation.
Yeah, to like the eyebrow European stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, to foreign films that a lot
are
of people
almost
wouldn't...
made to be slightly highbrow, pretentious,
yeah,
even
yeah,
bordering on.
yeah. And I enjoy, you know, some I enjoy from each category.
I think it's what you take away from it. I think for me, it's whatever you take away from the experience once the film's done. You know, if you're still thinking about it a day later or a week later, it pops into your head, then the film's done its job. Do you know what I mean? But if you watch it and within 10 minutes of the credits rolling, you forget it, then I think you're just going to forget it full stop.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I think this list of movies is for me, is something that I remember watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just that I've thoroughly enjoyed and probably would go back and recommend it to somebody to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you got any order did your movies follow an order, or did you just
no,
chuck them out?
No, I just made a list. I didn't even put it in order. That's just... A list enough is complicated for me. Like, I have an extra one hanging in there. So, you know, might get a shout out, might not. But I can't ever stick to a top list. I have to go over for some reason. That's just how I am. So, yeah. I don't know.
And, of course, I've now been declared the snob, which I'm going to prove by delivering my 10 movies in chronological order.
Oh. Oh, you're going in order.
Yeah, of their release.
Of the release date. Okay, well, I could go by release date, I guess. I can follow you. I don't know.
Well, I'll attempt to anyway. So, okay.
But I might save the best for last. Who knows?
Well, that'd be interesting. But then you're putting yourself in a position where you're saying that the last film you mentioned is the best of the 10.
I do have one that's the best of the 10.
Oh, that one back to the end then, because that'll make it more exciting. Because someone would probably be bored of listening to me rattle through the films every year. But they'll be, you know, if they know that in an hour's time they're going to get what they consider, or what you consider Hope Wade's favourite film of the last 10 years, they might stay with us for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's all about keeping the audience.
Yeah.
Because if I sit here and talk about the crap that I talk about, I might lose the whole audience.
Yes, so stay tuned.
Oh, thanks. So, right, okay. So 10 films each. You want me to go first?
Yep, you go first.
Okay.
Mr. Snob.
Okay.
Mr. Highbrow.
Okay. No, not at all, really.
Posh. Didn't somebody call you posh before? Which is just so weird.
I know. How?
I don't know, because you're so not.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, okay.
Just in your film, you're snobby.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so 10 movies in no order of preference. Just I try and do it in order of what those films come out. So my first choice on the list is The Black Swan from 2010, directed by Darren Aronofsky, who I'm a massive fan of as a director. Simply because, yeah, the turn of the decade, that was the one I was looking forward to. It's almost like the first film I was looking forward to seeing as well, and it didn't let me down, so I was really happy. Being a fan of said director. And being a massive fan of The Wrestler and Requiem for a Dream. But this one, I felt that The Black Swan, which, I mean, are we going to explain the film plots here? People know, don't they?
Yeah, they know.
Okay.
I mean, you could just tell.
Yeah, Natalie Portman plays an aspiring ballet dancer who basically goes through hell mentally and physically, if you to believe that all the scenes take place, or are they sort of fragments of her imagination. I'm not sure. Just a great piece of work by a director I really admire.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was looking forward to it after seeing the rest. I was looking forward to see what he would do next, and this one didn't let me down. And I still think about it now, although I've never. It's funny really, because even though I'm listening to some of these movies, I've never gone back to watch. I mean, I'll make a note as we go the ones I've watched more than once. And I have to be really honest. I haven't gone back to The Black Swan, but it's left his mark for me. It did enough for me. And anyone who knows me knows that I have a massive love for. What was that funny?
Because you never watch a movie twice, hardly.
I know.
It drives me nuts.
Okay. I mean, we could do a whole show on my viewing habits.
On your neuroses, you
yeah,
mean?
a little bit. I've seen a lot of movies growing up a lot of times because I never had. I mean, I'm not saying I'm rolling around in money, but I never had the chance to spread my wings and see various films. When I was younger, it was just like, tape 10 off TV and watch those on a loop. But okay. So no, this one almost feels like a companion piece to The Wrestler as well, and that's another part of its appeal for me. The two films that you could play together, and you could see the similarities between them, which I think is a mark of a good film director or an author or someone who's got complete control of what they're doing with their movie. And I feel that Aronofsky is one of the most gifted filmmakers for me personally in the last 20 years. So I didn't sit there and deliberately make this list to pick out filmmakers, but I do find myself returning or thinking about certain filmmakers more often than not. And it's my only film from 2000 and no, actually I've got one more, so I can't say that, but that one from 2010, and I came close to picking The Social Network as well, which I really like, very close to picking that. Just because I think it's a very well told adult story with themes that go way beyond just telling that simple story about Mark Zuckerberg. I think it's a universal theme about friendship, and I think it's a very well written movie, an incredibly well shot movie as well. Even though it's just talking heads basically. Again, by another director, which David Fincher I really admire, and I don't think he makes it in this list for me, which I'm sure is sad to say because I normally would put something by David Fincher in, and Social Network came the closest to going in this list. But my first choice is Black Swan.
Okay. Black Swan. 2010.
Yeah.
I'll go with my 2010 then.
Your earliest one.
My earliest. I'll copy you. I'll do my earliest.
Oh, I'm starting a trend.
It would have to be the Snowtown Murders. 2011 maybe? I thought, is it 2010 or 2011, that one? Either way.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story in Australia, which is just a brutal movie. I had you watch it with me.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very disturbing.
Directed by Justin Kurzel. And I don't know if he's done movies previously, but I thought it was pretty good. It's a decent movie to watch.
No, it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
For me personally speaking, I see a lot of films of this nature. I don't know why, because it's so depressing sometimes, especially having children, being a father. But for me, there's one particular scene in that movie that I seriously had to avert my eyes from the TV.
It's
watching.
sad. Yeah, it's sad to think that was a true story for anybody. And if you don't know much about it, but it's just about this kid who, they live growing up in a low income kind of area, and the one, the mom has a few kids, I think.
Yes,
the father wasn't present, but her boyfriend, I think, was the one that was molesting the kid at a young age. And also,
I mean, it's a tough watching it. I mean, we're sat here going on about, you should see these movies. I mean, if you're easily upset or easily offended,
you probably shouldn't. And then there's this other man comes in and takes a vengeance on the pedophiles and the bad people. His own
brand of justice.
And takes justice in his own way, and it's just really hard. It's a really good film though, and I remember that one and Animal Kingdom came out around the same time. Which Animal Kingdom is another Australian, but that is mostly based on a family of crime, which they actually spawned a TV show in America. So with it, both of those movies are really good, but Snowtown Murders, I highly suggest.
Yeah, I think that's the standout one, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Very well.
So that was one that stood out to me over when I first saw it, was probably around the time that it was released. So for you to remember it over a decade ago, it's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, very good. My next choice?
Your next choice.
Okay, my second choice is Blue Valentine.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, which I think is an incredible piece. Drama, and once again only a drama, and very much in the style of John Cassavetes, who's a director again I greatly admire from the 1970s. Just telling the story of a couple. It tells, two stories basically of how this couple meet, and so and how this couple break up, and it's a 2-hour movie where we're seeing two people fall in love, and then we're seeing two people fall out of love, and it's juxtaposed between the two scenarios for 2 hours. The two leads brilliantly played by Ryan Gosling, and more so Michelle Williams, I think, is outstanding.
Yeah, she's really good. You wouldn't think from Dawson's Creek that
I know, because I remember seeing this one and Brokeback Mountain, and I thought she was outstanding in both of them.
Yeah, she's really
good. Like Oscar worthy, good. That's how good I think it was. Directed by a guy called Derek Cianfrance, can never say his name, but he also did Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling, which is also a really good movie. Not quite as good as Blue Valentine for me, but it's also very good. But there's just something special about this movie for me. And this is one I've actually seen 4 times. So,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You saw it 4 times?
4 times, yeah. Because the first time I seen it, I was just like, wow, this is really different. And, like, not different because, like I said, it's Cassavetes, but it hasn't been done for a long time then. And then I watched it again. I was going for like a period of watching these films that Ryan Gosling in, and I was like, well, I remember Valentine was a good one, I need to go back. And I watched it again, and I've seen it twice since as well, once on TV since, which I ended up watching, I say, the last hour of it. So it keeps drawing me back in to watch it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to rewatch it.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
yeah.
I haven't seen it since it was released on
2010. So that's my overall film from 2010. And it's my second choice of the 10 movies. It's just an exceptionally well acted drama, and it's very honest. And you know, for anyone who's fallen in love or fallen out of love, unfortunately, I think it hits. You know, hits all the right notes. It's very honest. You know, emotional movie.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. My turn.
Yeah, your turn. Yeah.
Okay, so my second choice would have to be we need to talk about Kevin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Lynn Ramsey?
Yeah,
one of your favorites.
Yeah, love a lot.
Yeah, that was just amazing
Yeah.
movie. And when I remember watching it, it came on TV, like one of the movie network channels, and I was like, oh, what's this? You know, and I was doing stuff, and then I just sat down and watched it, and I was like, wow, that really hit me. And of course, American TV, it just repeats stuff. So I think I watched that twice in one day.
Oh, wow.
That movie? Yeah. I watched it, like, it was twice in one day or then, like, right the next day. I think it might have been twice in one day, if I remember correctly. And when I watched it the second time, I pick up all these little things that I never seen from, you know, that I didn't catch the first time. Yeah. It's just an amazing film.
Yeah. I think Lynn Ramsey in general, though, I mean, she's only made 4 films, right? And she's like an indie darling, Scottish, British director. Incredibly talented young woman. Yeah. You know, those movies, like you said, are full of little details. Yeah. And the first movie she did was called Ratcatcher. It's just full of little details. Again, I've seen that one probably 3 times. So again, you know, and Morven Caller, which she also did, and then she recently did the one with Joaquin Phoenix,
yeah,
which
I like
was really
that
good.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
But yeah, so
yeah, it's just, you know, it's about like a woman, Tilda Sweden.
Yeah, based on a book.
Yeah, and she isn't so much the mothering type, but she decides to have a child.
Which is the main theme of that movie, isn't it? That she hasn't got a maternal. She doesn't have that natural maternal thing, which is, I know, a massive fear for a lot of women who are pregnant.
Yeah, a lot of people, I can, you know, see that happening. You know what I mean?
Because you're always told that once you have the kid, it will just click. But there's always that part of you that thinks, but what if it doesn't click?
Yeah, and she just couldn't bond with the child, and so the child kind of, you know, acted out and had its problems, and it leads up to a horrific ending of the film. I don't know if I should give spoiler alerts or not, but it's just like you would have to see the film. Like, it doesn't go the way that I would think it would go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it kind of fit like everything that goes on in society with the school and the kid, and you know, just it was. I loved the details of the movie so much that he wore like a shirt as a child, and he was still wearing that shirt as an adult, which you never notice. And when you're first viewing it, you're like, oh, he still has that same shirt. Yeah. You know, and it's a childlike shirt, and so when he's a teenager, still wearing the shirt, but he's into like violence, and it's just it's amazing film. I thought, like, just little things like that. And J.C. Riley, is that his name? John C. Riley. Yeah.
It's the dad, isn't it?
Yeah, which you wouldn't think that he would fit into that kind of a role of a movie.
But that's the only problem I have with it.
For
me personally, just thinking, I think he's a good actor, and I got a lot of respect for John C. Riley. I really have. It's just slightly miscast for me personally.
Yeah, I could see that, but he did a good job, I think.
Yeah, but again, it's not really, like you said, it's Tilda Swinton's show, and it's completely her show. It's her. It's her movie.
Yeah, her and the kid Ezra. I forgot his last name.
Yeah. But like you said about the show, which is a really good spot, by the way. I don't think Lynn Ramsey ever makes anything obvious either, and I like that. I bet her as a director that she puts in these subtle little things, right, that you'll have to work to find. Yeah. You know, you're not going to get a 10-minute close up of that t-shirt just to let you know, oh, it's popped back up again. You know, that's something you would have poured out of the movie yourself, which you obviously have. Yeah. Which is you using your own intelligence for it. Lynn Ramsey never obviously sticks it in your face for you to go, oh look, the shirt's back, you know.
Yeah, no.
And some directors have to really hammer home their point,
Yeah.
which really annoys me. Like, I like the subtlety of
I didn't
filmmakers
notice.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't notice until the second viewing of it, and I was like, oh, he's wearing the same thing, and he's like, so it just plays into his childlike behavior, never growing up really, and then when he did, he was just acting out still in violence, and it was excellent movie, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly well shot movie as well.
And for me to watch it twice in a day, you know, it's just like that says something. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice. Does that bring me into choice 3?
Choice 3.
Okay. So a couple of films from 2011. Here. So the first one is, and I don't know, maybe this is one that a lot of people might pick. It proved to be very popular at the time, but it's Drive.
Okay.
Which is Nicholas Winding Refn's movie.
That's one I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's shocking to me.
I know. There's a couple on your list that I haven't seen, and I'm upset with myself.
Yeah. Well, we can rectify that.
Yeah.
In the next year.
Yeah. As I go through your boxes.
Oh dear God. But yeah, this is so this is Drive from 2011 by, as I said, Nicholas Winding Refn. He's a Danish director who eventually progressed from crime movies that he made in Denmark, such as Pusher. And then he kind of went to America eventually. He did Bronson along the way, which was Tom Harden's first decent role. He was very good in that. And I like this guy as a filmmaker, I really do. Even though sometimes reading some of the interviews that he does outside of, you know, it's very difficult to connect with the guy for me personally. But what he does on, you know, as an artist is what we should be focusing on, I suppose. And Drive is the movie that brought him to, or gave him international recognition, and it was the kind of film that brought him more to the masses slightly, led him to doing Only God Forgives, which is incredibly stylish companion piece to this movie. Yeah, a lot of people I know didn't like it, and also the Neon Demon, which is an interesting piece. I think Drive's the best example of what he does when he puts everything together and it works, if you know what I mean. And it, I mean, even though it's not the most like the story is not told in a traditional kind of way then, which stops it from being mainstream. But out of the movies that he made, I think it's probably, without trying, I think it becomes the most commercial movie that he made, in terms of it's the one that could pull the people in that would probably like that one, maybe not like the others. But if you like everything about it, then you're pretty sure to check out the other ones. But yeah, Drive is basically a thriller, drama, I suppose, slash. Once again with Ryan Gosling, who featured in Blue Valentine, playing a getaway driver from hire who gets involved in a relationship with two other people that live in the apartment that he works at, and it goes from there. But the most important part of this movie is not so much the story, just more the style of it. I mean, which is why I'm surprised you haven't seen, because it's so stylish.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Incredibly so. And it's not really, I mean, you probably, I don't know, I'm not sure what people really thought they were getting when they watched this, whether they think they're getting an action film or not, because it's not like that. And the funniest thing is Nicholas Winding Refn, whose influences are so diverse. You know, in interviews in the past, I've read him say that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the greatest movie ever made, and then the next thing he's, you know, claiming love for these European art movies. Although he's a real, really, his taste is so diverse. They're a real mixture of eyebrow and absolute trash. I'm talking like Andy Milligan level trash. Who's a director I love, who basically made films in his back garden back in the 60s. You know, he's that kind of guy. And when asked about Drive, I think it's hard for him not to say that a very similar titled movie called Driver by Walter Hill from 1978 is such a direct influence on this, even though he kind of denies. I'm not sure if he kind of denies that, but I don't think he can. But he said that the relationship in it develops between Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan, the British actress. You'll still be interested in this. He said that the relationship that develops between them two was so simple and so earnest and honest that he took the influence from 16 Candles.
Oh, really?
Which is how bizarre this guy's mind works. That why, I don't know. He's the oddest guy.
Yeah, I need to see that one.
Yeah, I know, it's great. The soundtrack's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't mind putting myself out there and saying that, because I know since then everyone's gone on about it. But I remember seeing it for the first time and thinking, wow, you know, it's incredible. And again, lovely little details in there and nods to older movies that I was well aware of. And I like Winding Refn. I'm always interested in what he does as a filmmaker. So I don't think I can really say too much more about this, because I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. But I'm just going to say that I'm a massive fan of it. And it is easily my My third choice.
And Ryan Gosling's in that.
Yeah, again.
Again.
Yeah.
Am I sensing a man crush or something?
Maybe. A little bit.
Is he your second to Mickey Rourke?
No. No. Mickey Rourke is untouchable.
What about Eric Roberts?
Oh, I love Eric. Okay, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
My three is. Am I going on my three? My third? Is this my third?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do something fun. I'll do Starry Eyes.
Okay.
2014.
Yep.
The film, let's see, how could I explain it? Like I said before, it's just the old wise tale of the
it's the legend, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Faust legend, once again, assign your soul to the devil and then it kind of being recouped eventually. And it's funny you've picked this because it just came after I picked Drive, which I mentioned the Neon Demon, which is the film that Nicholas Winding Refn did not long after. And yet the stories are exactly the same, except for Starry Eyes absolutely nails it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the funniest thing. The Neon Demon's good, but Starry Eyes, and nobody's seen Starry Eyes. No one talks about it. So I'm glad you brought it up because if you like Neon Demon, but it could have been better, that's where you need to go next.
Yeah, Starry Eyes is. I love the effects of it, and just when she starts losing her hair and her teeth and stuff was falling out.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And it's just because she sold her soul. And
it's a very stylish movie again, and again we could be looking at the same as Drive. I just mentioned the 80s influences.
Yeah.
The use of kind of neon colors, that squishy synth soundtrack that plays again, which has a really good soundtrack to that movie. Yeah, so if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, I think it's right up anyone's street. And you said there was a whole subgenre going on at that point in horror, which we should mention. Someone coined the phrase mumblegore, which made me really laugh. Mumblegore.
What the fuck is that?
That it was like
it's like a demigorgon
you'll
or
love
something.
this.
What is that?
Mumblegore is like a small genre within horror where it basically dealt with these grungy little dramas of small people made on a tight budget that were going through. So they were kind of going for these kinds of transformations and it would get really gory and stuff. And there's another film called Contracted. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Which I love, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't.
And there's another one called
yeah,
Red, Blue and White again, which is really good. Trust me, there's a subgenre for this, but I think Starry Eyes is a good example.
So it's not just body horror anymore,
No, because it is.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would think it would be.
I 100% agree, but you know what it's like?
They want to make up, the meta shit.
It's just we got to keep pigeonholing everything. We got to make things smaller and smaller.
I know. It would be a body horror.
Yeah, I know, I agree. And there is references in that movie to Rabid by Cronenberg, I remember thinking, and The Fly as well.
Yeah.
But that's not to sell the film short, because it's a great piece of work. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it stands out for me as a film because I've seen both that and Neon Demon, and even Neon Demon I thought was even more stylish.
Yeah.
In a way than
Starry Eyes.
Starry Eyes, but Starry Eyes was just so much better. It had the dark humor. Just that backstory of her wanting to be famous and
then paying the ultimate price
and it's just a wonderful film.
Yeah, big fan.
Yep, I highly suggest that one.
Yeah, see, that was one we agreed on.
Yeah,
no, we agreed on these.
Nobody
these are
talks
good
about
films.
it anymore.
They don't, to be fair.
And once it came out, people were talking about it, but now it's
not much though.
No,
because I remember selling it to the people I was working with at the time. I remember because I had a couple.
I know. I was trying to tell my friends to watch it.
Yeah, same thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just was like,
See,
okay, I'll get around with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fourth choice. And I know this is the one you're going to hit me over the head with, but it's going in. Right.
Okay.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, Lord.
Love it.
See,
choice 4. No.
Seems snobby to me.
Okay, yeah, it does, right? But it's not. Okay. For me personally...
Oh, it is.
No, that's what you haven't seen it, have you?
Sure haven't.
No, okay. Well,
okay, I won't judge.
Well, bear with me, right?
I just don't like half of the people.
I know, but that doesn't bother me. If the story's good enough, it doesn't bother me because I've changed. I've seen a lot of really poor performers.
It bothers me.
Adam Sandler, I'm looking at you. I've actually turned out and made a good movie. In the same way, I don't particularly care for Jim Carrey either, but every now and again I go, ooh, who's actually quite good in that. But more importantly for me, David O. Russell, who's the writer-director of this movie, who I fucking love as a writer, full stop. He's one of my favourites. Anything that David O. Russell writes, I'll go and see. Just something about the way he writes dialogue. And this is one of his efforts, a smaller effort. He did Three Kings back in the day, which is a bit of a grandiose thing. But again, it's one of my favourite films of the 1990s. But this easily for me is my favourite David O. Russell movie as well, I can say. Even though there's a few others I really like. I like American Hustle as well, but this one, I think he smashes it. Only because, right, I have to put a romantic comedy in here, right? I have to.
Which
because
is so weird.
I know. But I make absolutely no apologies for this whatsoever, because it's a genre that I always said to you, haven't I? When I think it's done right, it's done right. I don't care about, I don't cross any genres off. I don't sit there and go, I'm not watching a Western, or I'm not watching a sci-fi movie, or I'm not watching a romantic comedy. It's bullshit to me. If it's good, it's just good. That's as simple as that. And if it's well written and well pieced together, it's good enough. And the thing I like about this movie the most, to be honest with you, is it's basically a relationship between two depressives. Okay. And I just think that's so fucking unique that those people are written in an honest way. Mm-hmm. And Bradley Cooper plays the lead in it. And like you said, I'm not really a fan of Bradley Cooper, but he nails the part.
Yeah.
And just the idea that these two fucking people that just really have got deep down mental problems come together, not in a cheesy, contrived Hollywood way, but in an honest way. Yeah. Really works for me. And the supporting cast, again, Robert De Niro, who I think is really funny in it, is the dad.
Yeah.
There's just something about this, and this is one I've watched 3 times. I've seen this one 3 times. So I'm going to point that out to you.
Shit.
I love it. I really love the movie. There's just something special
my mind
about that
is
movie.
Blown. Okay, so it makes sense now, like why you didn't turn off Love Actually the other day.
Oh yeah, did I? I couldn't find the remote control.
I can see why you watched the whole thing.
No, but
and made me watch it with you.
Oh yeah, and you were really fighting me to turn it over.
I was getting angry.
Okay, but I'm glad you brought that up, because this is what I mean, right? When I talk about good romantic comedies, right? Silver Linings Playbook is like up here.
Okay.
And Love Actually is way down there, and that's the difference.
Really?
Trust me.
Not to Andy Wyatt, because he thinks Love Actually is way better.
I worry about Andy Wyatt. And no matter what Andy Wyatt says, you cannot defend that woman Alan Rickman works with in that movie.
She's a hussy. She was a bad hussy.
So just for a second, right, step back from your preconceptions and think, trust me, Silver Linings Playbook is one of the best films of the last 10 years.
I'll watch it for you.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm not saying I'm gonna like it, but I'll watch it.
Don't try to not like it.
I didn't say I wouldn't. I didn't say I'm not gonna accept it until I watch it.
Accept it.
I'm not gonna accept it until I watch it.
Accept
and then
it.
I can say it.
Move on.
Okay, I'll move on to my. Is this my number 4?
Yeah.
I lose track here. And I'm so bad. I don't number anything. I don't put anything in order. I'm just like a hot mess on anything that I do, right? Like, you're the more organized. You do the list and everything. I'm just like show up at last minute, and I bring the party. I'm like, I'm here. Here I am with my little New Year's little cranker thing, you know.
Cranker? What's a cranker?
I forgot those little things. What's those things that you turn? They go...
Klaxon.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Well, that's me.
Okay,
I'm
cranker.
I'm the cranker.
Cranky cranker.
Yeah, the McCranker.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 4, I'll go In Fabric.
Yes.
2018, 19?
Yeah, I'd quite happy to say 18.
18.
Yeah.
Peter Strickland, who, you showed this movie, you got this movie for us to watch.
Yeah, because I'm a big Strickland fan.
Yeah, and which I still need to see the Burgundy one.
Yeah. Duke of Burgundy, yeah, which is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
So yeah, has everything to do with what I like. It's stylish, about a dress that is bewitching, you would say.
Made of haunted fabric.
Made of haunted fabric, and it's about this sale that happens. Was it after Christmas sale? Maybe.
I think so.
Some
it's
kind
really
of
bad
sale.
because we've watched it recently, so I'm really disappointed that we're not right up on it, because we recently watched it, but 2 months ago.
I know, but I just remember the commercial was so like Halloween 3, like when they have the masks on and they say,
trying to hypnotize the viewer into buying the product.
It was exactly like that with the TV and come shop with us, and you had these strange women that were just enticing you into the store and showing you all these lovely things, but then there was that one dress that they would only give to a special person.
Yeah.
That was
and then it just kind of goes from customer to customer, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's just the way the movie was done. There was
which is, I have to really point out, to jump on you here, but I just stress out Peter Strickland is for me personally like the greatest British filmmaker for me personally in the last 10 years. And not only that, but as a visualist, he's almost second to none.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
And I
shots.
hate the lazy comparisons to David Lynch and things like that. So I don't think Peter Strickland has anything in common.
No, I
with
didn't think
David
that
Lynch.
but it's just beautiful. The shots on it, I thought was just
and again,
amazing.
the squishy synthy score.
Oh yeah,
by
that's always good. You know.
I can't even think of the group that did it.
I can't remember. Oh,
Cavern of Antimatter in it.
I think
Cavern of Antimatter, yeah.
It was just amazing. The whole thing amazing if you've never seen it. And it was very similar to the 90s made-for-TV movie with the girl from Twin Peaks
Directed
in
by
it.
Tobe Hooper.
Yeah.
I'm Dangerous Tonight.
I'm Dangerous Tonight,
Yeah.
Anthony Perkins. And that was about a red haunted dress.
Yeah, made of material from the mummy's tomb, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, and see, this one didn't really give too much of the backstory, just a little bit of it, so much more towards the end. Just there was a coven of, at the end.
But it's I think the great thing about In Fabric though is it's very British as well. I can't stress that enough. Like it plays on that kind of, hey, we would buy clothes from catalogs. Like it's almost. I mean, I think it's almost to me like the British sitcom Are You Being Served, but directed by Dario Argento.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's all these filtered colours. It's very giallo-esque. Just the look of it, not the story, the look of it.
Yeah.
But mixed with something that's just so atypically British.
Yeah.
Such as shopping in department stores and stuff.
Yeah, and it was just like
movie.
a couple little stories that mixed in together into one.
Yeah.
To just all has to do with the dress, but it's just a beautiful movie to watch.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
So,
okay,
there you go.
So we're on to choice 5 now, mate. Okay, so my choice 5, I'm just going to start my Jake Gyllenhaal man crush now. Is Nightcrawler.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
it's a
which
good movie.
I really, really liked. Written and directed by Dan Gilroy in 2014. It was Rene Russo's husband, by the way, which is why she features in his movies.
Oh, okay.
Just a bit of interest for you.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But this is outstanding for me. This is about. This is a movie about a reporter played by
trying
Jake
to get
Gyllenhaal,
the best shot,
who's
isn't it?
trying to break into that kind of area of fame, and just by exploiting basically other people and situations to his own end. And he plays such a vile character.
Yeah.
And he plays him so sleazy that there's shots in this movie that border on horror for me. It's such a close brother of a horror movie. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, because wouldn't there be like weird. A car accident or something, and he would try and get the close-up picture of somebody basically dying.
He pulls the guy at the car because he can't get a decent shot
and manipulate it. Yeah, he manipulates the picture.
Drags him out, not to try and bring him back round, but to get a photo of him.
Yeah.
Which is just how low this guy will go.
Which is kind of, I could see that happening though with paparazzi, especially
I can just
California,
see that. I can see that happening just in general today. Because look how people are now. If you ever go to a restaurant and someone's choking on something, the first thing we do is get the phone out.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody goes to help anymore. The phone comes out.
It's sad.
Or if someone's getting beat up outside a pub, instead of trying to stop it, let's film it.
There's those few people that do try, but most of them are sleazy.
Few and far between. And I think that's why this movie is really an important movie as well, because I think it's a real statement about the society we live in now. I think it's saying bigger things than just being a story about the media, which it is a really good story about media, but I think it's saying a lot more about what we are like as people now, and how our morality is so wrong now, and what we're prepared to do to sort of rise above everyone else, or to try and better our lives. I don't know, but it's just dark themes. Incredible central performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. For me personally, probably the best he's ever been in anything. For me, I don't joke about this. Honestly, I think he's the best actor of his generation. And sit there and I'll rattle off films that I think he's so good in. But this, for me, is easily his best piece.
Not that Spider-Man movie you watched the other day?
No. Sorry, Gene. My son loved it. He was well armoured with it. The things I do as a dad. No, this is on another level completely. I really do think it's a great movie, and it also features the last really good part for Bill Paxton as well. He was in it for a little bit, which was a real treat for me when he popped up. I was like, oh, Bill Paxton's in this. Sadly to be one of his last performances. So my fifth choice is Nightcrawler by Dan Gilroy. If you haven't seen it, please see it. It's very good.
Love it. Let's see. You know, I'm torn because like I said, I have 11 on my list here. But I think I'll go The Witch.
Choice 5.
Choice 5, The Witch. A New England folk tale.
Is that the full title?
Yeah.
That's the full title. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah. It's a good period piece, I think, movie.
Very
good. Which is very subtle, and, you know, some people might find it some parts disturbing. Some people probably hate the movie. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, I'm surprised that a lot of people need subtitles for the movie.
Yeah.
That's what's weird to me. Because I'm like, well, they're kind of speaking English, but old English. Because it's in New England. Isn't it in New England, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's what it says, New England folktale. Did I just say that?
It's there in the title.
So yeah, it's just I don't know why people. I don't know, but it's just personal taste. But I don't know why people don't like it, because it's a great film.
No, yeah, exactly the point. I think it was slightly undone, like another one you'll interest later on, which I won't spoil, but that they were undone by their own kind of media to a degree. Do you know, that they were advertised as the scariest film since The Exorcist, or the greatest horror film of all time, whatever fucking crap that these people do to these movies. And then they almost kill the movie, and they did that slightly with The Witch. A lot of people were putting out that it's this great horror film. So then that just puts horror films, like fans, that puts their backs up, so they go into it and they go, well, go on then, scare me, you promised you're going to do that. And then they just go in there and fucking moan and almost work against the movie without giving it a chance.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that it was actually in a mainstream theater, because when I saw it, Deadpool's fucking playing right next door.
Yeah, but that is the state of the times now, though, isn't it?
I don't know, because before I'm so used to it being more an art house theater. You know, you'd have to go to Royal Oak or somewhere, you know.
Or the Gloucester Guildhall.
Yeah, you would have to go there to see a movie like that, which, you know, I would probably go and do. And this time it was like, oh, well,
I think if you go to those kind of places, though, you've got the right audience to watch it with. If you go to an art house theatre, that's what I mean. Yeah, then you have a respectful audience.
Because I had some asshole kids behind me fucking laughing and playing on their phone, and some guy playing on their phone in front of me. I was not happy when I saw it in the theater, but I still loved it. It broke through like all the asshole people around me, because just don't laugh. You know, it wasn't a funny movie. If you don't understand it, just fucking leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, you ruin the experience for other people. And so, like, these young kids were in there, and they didn't understand it, and, you know, some people just didn't pay attention. I think they went into thinking it was going to be something else.
Yeah, jump scares, fast pace, lots of gore.
Like a Conjuring, you know, it's going to be something Blumhouse or some shit like that, right?
And it isn't, I mean, without saying fucking pretentious, but it is an intelligent piece, isn't it?
It is.
It's very faithful. Like you said, to its period that it's based in terms of the dialogue as well, which I said upset a lot of people. And like the people I spoke to who'd seen it then were sort of half and half. You had the ones that go, it was boring, nothing happened. I couldn't understand the word they were saying. I didn't know what was going on. It's too slow. I heard all those sort of things said about it. I personally, I'm exactly like you, because I really liked it. And if I was picking my 10 favourite horror films of the decade, then it would easily be in there, easily. And I'm just sad that I don't know, it did never really reach the full audience that I'd think it should have done. But hey, you know, that's the way it is, I guess.
It did get a cult following.
But yeah, it has got a cult following for sure.
You know, when it came to DVD.
It made Black Phillip a star.
Yeah, I love Black Phillip. He's like my friend.
Yeah, he also turns up in They Come at Night, so he actually has I think he's on IMDb now.
I know. He's got his own page.
Yeah.
He's a superstar.
He's a star. He's a superstar. He's the greatest goat actor of all time. He should be proud.
I want him. I need his spawn. I just hope he's not like, you know.
I know, because I bet his agent is just, why is there no more work for this guy? He's so good.
But yeah, Witch, my number 5.
Yeah, and a good one. Great movie too. Yeah, I think I'm losing slight order now, which I'm really disappointed in myself.
I don't even know what order I'm in.
I knew that was going to make you laugh, though. Okay.
I know, you have it written down right in front of you.
Yeah, I know, but it's got jumbled as time's gone on. Okay.
It's not going to get jumbled. I see you crossing off stuff like an erotic little movie fan that you are.
I'm losing my place. Okay, choice 6. Okay.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Jake Gyllenhaal is back.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, he's back. Right. This is Prisoners. Did you see this one?
I don't think so.
This is a wonderful adult thriller, which is really, really good.
No.
directed by the very, very talented Denis Villeneuve. I can never say his name. He's the guy who did the recent sequel to Blade Runner, but he also did The Arrival with Amy Adams, which I could have picked quite easily because I really like that one, and also did Sicario, the movie with Benicio del Toro, which is also really good. So this is a good director coming off a good track record. But for me personally, Prisoners is the best of the little bunch of movies that he's made. So he's another up and coming director. This is a story about some children that go missing, and the parents who try their own brand of justice with the dad played by Hugh Jackman. He was really good in this, which is
he's always a good actor. I mean,
from all that comic stuff. Yeah. Like, okay, because I think not that he doesn't do a good job, but he does that in his sleep. I think. But yeah, here he plays this dad of these two kids, and they take justice into their own hands by kidnapping the character played by Paul Dano. I don't want to get the whole story away. And then Jake Gyllenhaal is the policeman investigating it. I think you'd really like this, personally, Hope. I know I did. This is when you should. This is when I know. I'm going to find it because I know you'll like it. It's long. That's the only downfall. It is.
I don't mind long if it keeps me interested.
Oh no! I know you like long. That's why you're with me. Real bad jokes. Is that a tumbleweed? Right. Okay. Oh dear.
God, I'm in shock.
Why? Why? Because I lie on a podcast. I don't lie, folks. These are my favourite films. Yeah. So this is Prisoners. From 2013. This is 2 hour. This is an hour and 50 minutes solid, really well acted drama. Really well acted.
Yeah.
Incredibly engrossing and pulling, and dark in places, and also quite surprising. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but there's some surprises. There's some prisoners.
Okay, just prisoners.
Just prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal. Trust me.
And they're not in prison.
No. Trust me though on this. It is such a, because I went into it thinking I've never even heard of it when I watched it. I was like, what the hell's this? And I watched it 2 hours and a half later. I was blown away.
Really?
It's that kind of movie. Trust me.
I like those kind of movies.
And that is my sixth choice.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look into that one next.
What's next?
Sounds good.
What's next?
I'm torn. I'm really torn because I'm not going in order here, but I will go with The Eyes of My Mother.
Oh yes.
2016.
Yeah.
A black and white. The first one of the black and white horror. I have 2 black and white horrors on here, which is kind of weird. Which I don't know if the other one is more. Yeah, I guess it would be horror, but it's more stylish, and I really love it. So I'm saving it for last. So just stay tuned because I'm coming in. I'm coming in hot here. The Eyes of My Mother, directed by Nicholas Pesci. Is it Pesci?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Pesci? Would it be like what's his name?
Pesci?
Joe Pesci?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not going to challenge you on that one.
In his first movie that he did.
It is, yeah.
We watched the second one.
Not good.
It wasn't good at all.
I know, which is a real contrast because this guy, like you said, he did Eyes on My Mother, which was a fascinating little movie, but a fascinating movie. And sort of went into the second one with high hopes because he wanted to do something that contrasted his first movie.
Yeah.
Is it called Pearson, the second one?
Yeah, I think so.
Which was the complete opposite of this because it was, it's shot in colour, and just really far short. But Eyes of Your Mother, which is the film that you've chosen, which is the film we're going to talk about briefly, is again really brutal. Disturbing.
So I know people. What are people going to think of me? It's like after they see my.
I think you're going to see the real Hope now.
I watch these awful images.
Yeah, I see. No, this is it. Because people see pictures of you and hear you talk, and you come across as this big, bubbly, life of the party, blondes. It's all fun and.
I am the party.
Yeah, I know.
And I would never harm a fly. Only a spider. Never harm a fly.
I know, but the Psycho reference there. But I love the fact that people have come into this podcast expecting Marilyn Monroe, and they're going to leave the podcast getting Marilyn Manson.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I need to put that the thing on my forehead.
But yeah, this is a dark movie about a young girl that grows up in a house with her mum who's into autopsy type stuff, isn't she?
Yes. Was she a doctor? I forgot. She was
a surgeon.
A surgeon.
I should say.
Yes,
yeah, surgeon.
She was a surgeon. And
was she an eye surgeon though? Is that where we get because the daughter?
Well, she would teach the daughter how to
dissect like a goat's head.
Yeah,
or
how to take out the eyes and how to take all the parts out of the goat head. Which I guess she would need to learn that future in life.
That was the one
because
part.
They lived on a farm.
Yeah,
basically.
but that was the one part that Black Phillip's agent wouldn't let him take.
Well, yeah, we don't want dead Black Phillip.
Okay, but yeah, so...
And then the salesman comes along to try and sell her something.
In truly one of the creepiest scenes I think I've ever seen.
Oh, it was
that
horrible.
guy who plays who walks into the house and
Yes.
he gives her that look, then he'd say, I've come here to kill you, and it's played it in an horribly realistic way.
Yeah, because they're out in the middle of nowhere. You know, they live on this farm
And he tricked her into getting into the house, didn't he?
Yeah, and the father wasn't home, and so it's just the daughter and the mom, and he basically kills the mom in some brutal way, and you know, the daughter is traumatized and sees it, and
and that kind of affects her for the rest of her life, doesn't it? Because it sends her onto a path of...
Yeah, and then it just goes off to this weirdness, because doesn't she end up, like, taking vengeance on him and, like, kills him?
Oh, yeah, she kills him. Yeah,
and then keeps...
She stores him in the barn,
and takes out his eyeballs, and, you know, so he can't see, and sews his lips together. And it's just,
it's a very disturbing
and
piece.
keeps him as a pet. And, yeah, and it's even more than that. There's just so much more to the story.
I think after this podcast, I'm going to get a lot of... No, bear with me. I think I'm going to get a lot of mail in my inbox of people telling me you need to get in that relationship.
Probably. Okay. Like, what are you doing with that psycho woman? But yeah, if you don't mind gore and brutality, then
and disturbing
imagery, please, go
give
see
it a look.
Please watch this movie. I you know, like, I'm just like telling you, Snowtown Murders.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you made it through Snowtown, this is where you go next. You go to this one next. Okay.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
But yeah, no, it is a great indie movie, though, isn't it? Shot by a woman.
What does it say about me? Jesus. I don't know.
It's great. It's a great piece, though.
It was shot by a woman?
Yeah. Was it shot by... It wasn't it?
I don't know.
Was she female?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Nicholas.
Oh, Nicholas. What are you on about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're about to get drunk. We should be doing this drunk,
I know.
by the way, having a drink.
This is
should
bad.
We pause it.
This is bad. No, this is bad enough sober. Okay. So that leaves me choice 7?
Yes.
I am not going into choice 7 already.
Yeah.
I am. Okay.
I lost count.
Is it that bad for you? Okay. My choice 7, but I have completely slipped order because now the list that I made now resembles Spaghetti Junction. It's all over the place. But my choice 7 then is Melancholia.
Okay, yeah.
By Lars von Trier.
Is that the one with Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was good.
Stunning movie. Yeah. My favourite von Trier movie, and I'm a big fan of von Trier as a director. Again, very controversial director. Always tackling subjects that are very taboo. As a sort of way of doing his movies using digital, which I'm not a massive fan of digital film actually, but a lot of his sort of movies are shot that way. But this one being particularly the standout for me. And I like Antichrist and Nymphomaniac and The House That Jack Built, and Breaking the Waves is my favourite von Trier movie, but that was way back in the 90s. So the best movie since Breaking the Waves is the one I'm picking right now, which is Melancholia, with, like you say, Kirsten Dunst, which is a long but rewarding movie, I think. Incredibly bleak. And for me personally, and I've seen a lot of movies, it's the best deceptional betrayal of depression I've ever seen in a movie, and knowing a lot about that particular subject. I think I'm in a place where I can give that a valid opinion on that. And Kirsten Dunst's lead performance in this is just stunning to me, and it's the most perfect, realistic portrayal of depression I've ever seen. And it kind of overwhelms me just thinking about it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
But this is a movie, with bigger things going on than that.
Yeah.
It forms the loose trilogy of movies by Von Trier, which I love it. It's known as the Depression Trilogy, which is Antichrist, Nymphomaniac, and Melancholia, which that's this 3 films that he put together saying that that's the main theme of those movies.
Yeah.
This one easily being the best of those. I'd want someone to... it's got a great cast. All Von Trier's movies do, regular Charlotte Gainsbourg is a regular in this, and a regular in his movies. She's here. John Hurt's here. He's done one before. Kiefer Sutherland turns up here. Big old cast of people. Studying Stalgard, he's in like pretty much nearly all his movies. I'm not sure if Udo Kier's in this because I know he's in all Von Trier's movies. I can't remember if he's in this one. He might play a waiter in it or something minor role. It's a movie about coming together for a wedding, where the bride is played by Kirsten Dunst, who's going through a really severe depression. and how she's almost like sent, and like it's a very pretentious idea. It's almost like that the sadness and everything that she's feeling is bringing about the end of the world. Now, if I say that, you would sit there and think that just sounds absolutely ridiculous. But Von Trier's got such a way of putting that story over that it suddenly becomes believable, which is an incredible feat for anybody. And I think a real testament to the guy that he actually makes you believe that story. And I have to say, not only the last 10 years, but I think it has probably one of the bleakest endings in the history of cinema, which I'd rather you just go in there and experience it than me tell you anything about it. Again, if you're feeling, down or not in the right mood, I'd completely avoid the movie if Hope hasn't already killed you with rude choices. But yeah, if you're feeling up to it, and I've just done Snowtown and Eyes of My Mother, I'm going to go and watch Loris Van Trier now. I don't think please don't watch those 3 films back to back before midnight, because I have a funny feeling you won't make the new year. But hey, jokes aside, it's a fantastic movie that I really don't want a spoil, so go in and experience it. Anyway, that's my 7th choice. So yeah.
7.
What's your magnificent 7th choice, Hope?
I was tied at this one, but since you're talking about Udo.
Oh, okay.
Because I was tied between Map of the Stars,
which I love.
Yeah, David Cronenberg.
Yeah, and which I come very close to picking.
I know, and then I think I might just have to go campy. I have to go Puppet Master, the littlest
Puppet Master,
the little Reich, wasn't it? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Puppet Master.
And you're bringing the fun here a little bit now, aren't you? Because we've took it down the dark road here.
If anybody, this is the campy B movie. This is, if you know anything about me, just full moon. That's all you need to know, because I am the full moon lover.
Yeah.
I love anything done by full moon or
you've basically
Empire.
Kept Charles Band in a high level of living.
Yeah.
By constantly buying his products.
Exactly. I made him, who
everything.
He is.
You bought his castle. You bought his castle.
I know, right? But I think I'm picking this one because it's my personal favorite, is that kind of B movie. It has everything. It reminds me of the 80s. For it being, I think it was like the 12th.
What, in the series?
Yeah, wow. Of the franchise. So I think
I got a massive confession here. I've only ever seen 2.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh God. And
1 and 2, by the way.
And I'm marrying you, and you only seen 2. I'm gonna have to shove more down your throat.
Okay, go on.
But I think, like I was saying, for it being the 12th entry into the franchise, I think it's done an amazing job at keeping it up to date with the schlock and the the campiness. And
I think the major pluses for this movie, if you don't mind me just cutting in on you a second, I think the fact that it's written by a guy called S. Craig Zahler, right, who I love as a writer and now a director. He recently directed Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson. Also did Brawl in Cell Block 99, which I come very close to picking because, again, it's the fun factor.
Yeah.
And also did Tomahawk.
Yeah. Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, I see. I know
that.
what I'm talking about. But yeah, with the Western horror midgey with
Kurt Russell
was fantastic. So yeah, you had a decent writer, and I think that was the great thing here. It's
always
because I can't say because I haven't seen the previous 6 entries. It's 12. But it almost feels like, why don't we freshen this up by bringing in a really good writer, right? Going back to practical effects, right?
Practical effects is key.
Absolutely.
You got good cast.
Yeah.
Udo, Barbara Crampton,
Yeah.
Michael, your Eddie and Cruiser's guy, Michael
Parr,
yep,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I always forget his last name.
Yeah, another one of my man crushes. Jesus, this is
Lord.
podcast is bringing me down. Yeah, and Fabio Frizio does the music as well, doesn't he?
Oh, nice. He does?
Obviously of Lucio Fulci fame.
Yeah.
He does the score.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So yeah, a lot of talented people are brought on board to kind of freshen up the franchise.
And the story was fresh because it's like it's all
meta,
a Comic-Con.
Is it meta because it's at a Comic-Con?
Yeah, maybe. But just because it's like they're all going to sell the toys at like a con or something like that, and it's just, I think he owns like a comic book store, and so it's kind of fresh into today's generation, and I really love it because it's campy fun. So if you like cheesy,
gory, but practical effects gore.
Yeah, it's
proper
good.
Gore.
It's proper gore.
Yeah.
It's cheesy fun. I love it. If you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
for all the horror fans out there,
which I think sometimes you do need.
Obviously, I have a theme here of horror movies. Even though, I mean, I do like comedies, but comedies have been shit the past decade for me. You know, I don't want to see your favorite Will Ferrell and fucking
I just realized what you said. Absolutely not, by the way.
and, you know, just stuff like that. It just doesn't appeal. I mean, there's more comedy on TV, I think, in the past decade than
on the big screen.
on the big screen. Like, what is it? Fucking Daddy Come Home, whatever it is.
As you can tell, and nowhere near Hope's Top 100 is Daddy Come Home. Yeah.
This sounds like a depressing film.
Daddy Come Home. Is that like a European art movie shot in black and white?
Is it Daddy's Home? What is it? What is it fucking
know.
called?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. Fucking Marky Mark and Funky Bunch.
And the Funky Bunch, yeah. But yeah, check out Puppet Master. Okay. Let me try and get this back on track.
Okay.
Choice 8. Hey, we that far into this?
Yeah.
Okay, choice 8. Okay. Now, again, I said earlier in the podcast that I didn't want to represent directors and that kind of thing, but I find myself, without realising, I'm picking certain people because I really like their work.
Because you're a snob.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's always about directors with you.
I know. So, okay, my choice 8 then is directed by the great and British Christopher Nolan.
Oh, God. Okay.
Who I think is a fantastic filmmaker. You know, slightly more on the popcorn scale of things here a little bit, I guess. Big movies, you know, the Batman trilogy that he made. But I always find that the films that he makes are more interesting than the ones slightly outside of that. The Prestige, which I really like. And also Inception, which I was going between the two of Inception and Interstellar, and for my 8th choice. And I've picked Interstellar, even though I really like Inception. But I picked Interstellar just because it was a film that I really didn't want to watch.
Okay. And I followed. Then you enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I was like, wow, you know.
Okay.
And
I like movies like that.
Yeah, I had a couple of mates who said, "Oh, you know, you should really watch it." And I was thinking, "Oh, it's 3 hours. It's 3 hours. It's like more, you know. I love sci-fi, like old vintage sci-fi, but I'm not massive on newer sci-fi. And so I went into it thinking, oh, it's 3 hours of sci-fi, and Matthew McConaughey's in the lead, and not that I don't, you know, because he surprised me a few times. But I was a bit not sure about it. But yeah, 3 hours later, and one absolutely fantastic Hans Zimmer soundtrack, probably my favourite soundtrack of the last 10 years. My mind was, you know, I was just like, wow, I completely got that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah.
Very smart, very, very intellectual science fiction movie, I think. Just perfect fodder for someone who wants a thinking man science fiction movie. You know, if you're fed up of all this Marvel bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible movie. It's really hard for me to kind of explain the story as well, unless you kind of see it. And that's the thing I like about Christopher Nolan, is he seems to be putting a fresher spin on some of the ideas that he have got. I just don't think are really in cinema a lot now. And he has an intelligent way of telling his stories and a very deliberate pace of telling his stories. And like I said, the Hans Zimmer soundtrack, which is his regular collaborator now, by the way, on his movies. They've got a little thing going on between them, which is great. This being the best, though. And I think the last sort of 25 minutes or so of this movie are just absolutely hypnotising.
Yeah.
And the perfect example of a director just really doing his job. You know, when he's like, I'm going to sell this story now, and I'm going to use this montage of ideas and shots and a fantastic score, and I'm going to put it all together and try and pull you in to believe a story, which is, I mean, if you break the story down and really think of it, it's frankly ridiculous. But again, it's putting that idea over and making it work, and that's key here to this movie. And seriously, I think Christopher Nolan's direction is fantastic. It's just that Hans Zimmer soundtrack. It's absolutely stunning. I know my mate, who probably won't be listening to this podcast, Perry or Paul Worsfold, he will sit there and just listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Of Hans Zimmer stuff, and particularly this one.
Really?
And you know, you'll know that we'll give each other that knowing, like how good that soundtrack is.
Yeah.
And like I said, I could have picked Inception, which I've probably seen a couple more times. But just an incredible movie, and it's my 8th choice.
Oh,
and I won't go into it any much more than that, because I think people probably have seen it. But
you know, and it's funny you mentioned Matthew McConaughey, because you always think of him, you know, and all right, like Dazed and Confused, he's playing naked on his bongo somewhere. But
yeah, yeah, but like but like you said, but then you see him in things
so
like
good.
You see him in Killer Joe.
Is that the one I was just going to ask you about with Gina Gershon?
Yeah, and Emil Hirsch as well, the young kid.
He shits me.
No, he's good though, isn't it?
But that's an amazing film. I just watched it not too long ago, and I was like, wow, he was really
directed
good
by William Friedkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's good. It was a good film. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that's one I like.
And that's what I mean with sometimes. I mentioned Adam Sandler earlier on. He was in Punch Drunk Love, which is fantastic. Yeah, I absolutely fucking despise the guy in anything else. And that's the kind of thing I want about. That every now and again, a director, an actor,
pull it out.
Yeah, will just do something. You go, oh, I didn't think you could do that.
I know, because he did some fucking cheesy movie with Kate Hudson. Like, what was it? Like 10 thing. I don't even know what they're called anymore. Some love movies. Like, he did a group of them, I think, and it was just bad.
10 excuses you need not to watch the movie.
Something like that. It's always that shit. I don't know. Don't like him, but but like I said,
he's
he
just
could be
not
good.
that into you. That kind of thing. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Choice 8.
All right, choice 8. I'll say Hereditary.
Oh, there it is.
There's Hereditary. This is one that me and you both love. It's good.
And I could have easily picked it as a choice.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, well, if we're going to talk about tempos, let's try and spread the love a bit further. So add something else. Or otherwise, I absolutely would have picked it.
Amazing performance by Toni Collette. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Like, she is...
Oscar worthy. But it's a horror film, so forget it. You're not going to get a nomination.
I know. They shunned her, didn't they?
Completely. No nomination. Nothing.
Oh, like, seriously, it's just an amazing film if you've never seen it. And it's brutal, of course. Again, like, some parts are just, not all of it, but a lot of it's just really intriguing. The way the family, she was basically brought up, her mother was a little...
Because again, this is incorporated some of your favourite themes, isn't it? Witchcraft.
Yes. I was going to say it's on that witchcraft kind of theme, which I guess in Fabric could be on that. And, a couple other ones. Another one I have, The Witch. I also have another one on here, but witchcraft, paganism, anything is just one of my favorite subjects to talk about, and I think this is just hit it on the nail.
I think as well, like talking about because we mentioned The Witch earlier on, and I was going to say that I knew you had this. I knew you were going to mention this movie eventually, so I can bring it back to the conversation about spoiling what we're going to pick. And I think both movies suffered the same fate that they were put out there as the scariest film since The Exorcist, and then it kills it because fans just go there and go, "Oh, it didn't scare me," or "I thought it was this, I thought it was that," and I think you're going in there fighting against it before you watch it, because you want to find a reason to knock it.
I don't listen to that shit though.
No, you really shouldn't, because you're going to miss out on a smart movie. I know. Again, this is another one that splits people right down the middle. You got the people like ourselves that will sit here, and Jeff Alderman, if he's listening to this, there's no bigger fan than Jeff Alderman, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I think you watched it a million times.
In the same day.
And boasted about it a million times.
And he championed it the whole way through. And rightfully so to champion it.
Yeah, he knows. We know it's amazing. He knows that we know that it's amazing. It's an amazing, well done, shocking film. Yeah,
and intelligent again.
Very intelligent. And was this his first film?
First full-length movie.
Which is amazing. And I had a couple on here, like the Eyes of Your Mother.
People's first efforts.
And it's like hit it out of the ballpark.
Because even some of the best directors of all time, I think their first efforts aren't that good. No. So to come out batting that strong straight away, I think is quite an achievement.
Yeah, because we also watched Midsummer, which he did recently,
which is very good.
Which is good, but I don't think
not on the same level, no.
No, I think Toni Collette, just that ending is just amazing to the whole movie. Just the whole thing is just amazing. So that is my number 8. Okay,
which then brings me into my number 9. Which is, I feel kind of sad that I'm running out of choices. So there's so many other films that I kind of want to mention that we've probably not touched on.
Yeah.
Okay, my choice 9, and I promise anyone who's listening, this is the last time I'm going to pick Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, God. I should be worried.
He's got 3 entries in my top 10.
Oh, no.
Which is, that's not deliberate.
If Brokeback Mountain was in this...
I would have picked that as well.
I know you would.
Yeah. I know people are going to worry about this. They're going to sit here and going to go, that Ian James character who does the podcast, right? He obsesses over Mickey Rourke, Eric Roberts, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Gosling, and he likes Brokeback Mountain. Anyway, let's move on. So my choice 9...
I'm not sending you out on a excursion into the woods or anything with any of your friends.
No, I don't think my friends would even want to go with me now after listening to this. Okay, so my choice 9...
I'm going to be like Michelle Williams.
Yeah. Fantastic actress, yeah. Okay, yeah. Sure the hell I'd like to know what you boys did up there. Okay. Choice 9 is Nocturnal Animals.
Yes.
Which is absolutely fantastic.
I'm just mad at myself. I haven't seen this yet. Yeah. Tom Ford. I'm because he's like a fashion guru. Yeah.
Did you just use that word?
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Where are we? You're in my head.
I'm in it.
Naked.
Oh dear. But yeah, so choice 9, Nocturnal Animals, directed by Tom Ford, as you said, is famous for fashion. This is only the second movie he made. I have to be really honest. I think Simple Man, his first movie with Colin Firth, is an interesting piece. I don't think it's great. I think it's interesting. It's decent. This only his second movie, and whether you're making another movie, I don't know, but it's just utterly fantastic. And again, completely stylish. I mean, I don't have to do that bit. You can guarantee, with obviously perfectly designed costumes and shots and color scheme.
And Amy Adams, right?
He was fantastic.
Yeah,
he's fantastic here. I'm a fan. I know a lot of people really don't like her. Right? Okay, that's fair enough. But I personally do. I think she's very good.
Yeah.
But Nocturnal Animals. Yeah, this one is Jake Gyllenhaal playing a writer.
Michael Shannon in this too?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
He's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yes, do you know what I forgot? He's a pivotal part in this as well. I totally forgot he was in it.
I know. I need to see this.
Yeah, this is really good. This is the story of a writer who has a falling out, or kind of. To be honest with you, you're really interested in this side of it, right? Because it is probably the greatest, personally, right, emotional revenge movie ever made.
Really?
Yeah. We know revenge movies normally involve someone getting wronged and then turning up a gun and breaking kneecaps. Forget all that, right? This is like how to get revenge at someone, to really hurt someone.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to watch
and
this.
Doing it in the most subtle, horriblest way.
Oh, I have somebody I need to revenge. I need some.
It just doesn't bring us back to that stalker thing, does it? Oh,
my single white female. Yes.
I know.
I
Honestly, if you are listening, or you sent someone to listen, give it up. Okay. So, yeah, this is choice 9, Nocturnal Animals, directed by Tom Ford. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a writer who had this long relationship years ago with Amy Adams, who's now with super hunky Arnie Armour, who I just always weirdly like when he turns up in anything.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal kind of. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it. I don't want to spoil it for anyone else who hasn't seen it now. But I want to point out that there is a great performance in this movie from a young actor called Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was in Kick-Ass, and I was trying to point this out because I can't remember his name. And he's the most unlikely guy to play this part. He plays like a redneck, white trash, sort of cliche kind of character.
Yeah.
It's such a vile character in this. Yeah,
he looks
so
like
good.
he would. He looks
So
like he
good
would
in this.
because he has that kind of. I think I've seen him in something else.
No,
kind
yeah,
of
honestly,
like
because he's
that.
almost like slightly pretty boy in a way, kind of geeky and kick-ass. Yeah, he turns up out of
There's
nowhere.
a lot of pretty boy white trash guys. So.
Oh yeah, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, you trying to tell me something? But there is a scene in this movie, which is the last thing I'm going to say about it, because I really want you to go and watch it. I don't want to spoil anything about it. I just need you to know that I'm telling you that it's one of the 10 best films of the decade.
I need you to find it for me.
I know, but there is one
like,
scene in this
ASAP.
where Aaron Taylor Johnson is taking a shit out on the porch. He's got an outside toilet, and he
Lord.
plays the whole scene,
Oh, nice.
wiping his ass as he does the dialogue. It's fantastic. Okay, it was almost like John Waters crept in for a second.
Yeah. Oh God.
Okay, so that's my choice 9.
I just need to see it. I need to see that movie really
Fantastic.
bad. Yeah.
Okay.
That's one you need to find. Okay. Let's go.
Choice 9.
9.
9.
This is gonna be my other black and white horror, November.
Oh yes.
Beautiful film.
Yeah.
Once again, it's kind of like a fantasy
Folktale again. I'd say. Yeah.
Romance gone.
Yeah, it's almost folktale / fairy tale.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to kind of describe it to anyone.
Most beautiful imagery I've ever seen. Cinematography just gorgeous. Black and white, stunning film.
Yeah.
I didn't just the picture of it, the way they looked. If you think about, because didn't they try to say this was like a David Lynch film or something? Wasn't this
anything that is not remotely straight is a David Lynch movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anything that's slightly
Which
not
I think
normal.
he took the characters from this movie because you remember the black and
The
white
woodcutter guy.
The woodcutter
yeah,
guys.
from Twin Peaks: The Return, the TV show.
Yeah,
recently.
The Return is very similar to these people from is it Estonia that they're in Estonia.
Small little movie, indie art movie made in Estonia. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's taken from a folktale, I believe,
Yeah.
from the small village. I remember reading
Yeah.
something about the guy saw images of was it early 19th century Estonia, and how they lived in the village, and it has to do with paganism and witchcraft and a love story.
Yeah.
This girl falls in love with one of the boys, but he of course loves she's like a baroness or something.
Yeah. So they can never be together, can't they?
Yeah, and he was more in love with her, and she wanted him, but she used this this dark
She goes to
magic
see the witch, doesn't she, for a spell. So there you got the fairy tale element of it, haven't you? But then it becomes something much darker.
Yeah.
And slightly grotesque to a degree.
Oh, that is so weird. That. Yeah, it is grotesque, and then the whole the way the village, and it is very fairy tale. Remember, there was like the.
But it has the humor as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has like a very black comedy humor.
Yeah, the flying cow.
Yeah, the flying cow, and then there was also like the metal pieces that would come to life. That
it was like a
walking metal robot or something, but it was in like 19th century, and it was just like. It was just so good.
And it's just accepted as a character, isn't it? Even though it's like a load of metal that's come together and it's walking around, they talk to it and have a conversation. The humour is very out there, isn't it? It's very almost Monty Python-esque, some of the humour. But at the same time, it's not, it has the strength of its conviction and to tell a decent story. Like, it is telling the story as well, despite having all this off-the-wall humour going on. It's a very unique movie. It almost defies description.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to really sell it to someone. And I'm surprised that he got it made, really. But it's certainly original.
It definitely is. And for it to have, I think it won an award for the filming of it.
Like you said, because the cinematography is
it's just beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful movies I've seen.
Very unique looking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend
November.
If you've never seen it.
It's a nice little surprise, that one.
What was it, 2018?
Again, it's quite a
17?
Yeah, quite a recent one.
Yeah, it's a great film. Loved it.
Okay, choice 10. My final choice of this list of 10 movies, the best 10 movies of the last 10 years. And my last choice is The Phantom Thread.
What the fuck is that? Is this another pompous? Is this another highbrow?
No, nothing's pompous on this list. So let's get that corrected straight away. This is
boy.
This is The Phantom Thread by my favourite director of the last 20 years, which is Paul Thomas Anderson, which I cannot say enough good things about this guy. And interestingly enough, out of these 10 movies, I may possibly put this one first as being my favourite.
Okay.
Which will be really unique because not only... Okay, if I say this film now was my favourite of the last 10 years, right? But by Paul Thomas Anderson. My favourite film of the previous decade was There Will Be Blood, again by Paul Thomas Anderson. And my favourite film of the previous decade before that is Boogie Nights.
Oh, okay.
Again by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh.
So
another obsession here?
Yeah, massively.
Okay. See,
massively.
You have so many quirks. I just don't even know how I can handle you.
No. Well, that's understandable. Yeah.
But I do.
But I know you do. With loving hands. So yeah, this is The Phantom Thread from 2018 by easily, I'm going to go out there and say, my favourite director of the last 20 years. Easily, Paul Thomas Anderson. And this is a movie that Daniel Day-Lewis is the lead in. I think he's retired. I think it's the last film. This is his last film. He's like, I'm going to retire from filmmaking. I'm going to make one more film. And fortunately for everybody, and especially for me, it was this movie. And it's an English movie, so Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to shoot it in this country. And it tells an incredible story about, and you'd actually probably like this one, even though it's based in the 1940s and it's very English and it's very twee in a certain way, which you probably think, God, this is not me. But it's an interesting movie about a dressmaker.
Okay.
Played by Daniel Day-Lewis, who's so at the top of his game that he doesn't let anybody into his world. He's just hit, and it's him and his sister, who lives with, plays by Leslie Manville, who's a fantastic British actress who was married to Gary Oldman years ago, who plays his sister. And there's almost this like Hitchcocky and Rebecca vibe about it. His sister doesn't want him to get with anyone; she wants to keep him for herself. And this played out, and it's a long movie, and it's a drama. But it almost, again, this is almost fairy tale-esque, and he meets this waitress, this young waitress that he suddenly starts obsessing over because she reminds him of his mum. And he brings her into his life, and he makes this dress for her, and then suddenly the mind games start playing between them because she starts to realise that he is horribly controlling her, taking over her life and making her decisions for her. You could even probably relate to this story, Hope. This controlling older man is destroying this young, beautiful thing. And again, there's some twists and turns, which I don't want to spoil here. Because again, I want people to see these movies. I'm talking about these movies, and I don't want to sit here and run the way. Because I know a lot of people, me and you listen to podcasts all the time, and I hate when people just reveal the whole plot. I think, well, there's no point in me watching it. If you've already seen the movie, right, and you want to go in there and have a bit of banter with somebody else to see it, that's fantastic, and maybe that's what those podcasts are for. I don't know, maybe they are, and that's fair. but for me here now, I want to give you the 10 films that I really like, and I want you to go and watch them if you haven't.
In blind eyes.
Yeah, kind of a degree. But it's just a fantastic, once again, a beautifully shot and detailed movie, especially considering it's made by an American.
What year was that one?
It doesn't seem mean. 2018.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
But an American making a film about something that's atypically English, and then and getting the details right, someone really understanding how we live this way of life, or how we did live this way of life. And as a very old, like I said, I mentioned Hitchcock's Rebecca. I should also mention some of the movies that David Lean was making during the 40s, before he did his big epics of later years. It's a very British cinema of the 1940s feel about it, which I really like because I recognise it. But it's given this fresh spin, and like I said, it almost falls over into fairy tale story, but dark fairy tale story. And if you've seen the last 20 minutes of the movie, you'll kind of understand where I'm coming from with that. But Daniel Day-Lewis is and Leslie Manville, who plays his sister, is fantastic in it. It's so good. And it's Paul Thomas Anderson. The guy just does no wrong in my eyes. I have to say, he is just my favourite director. Anyway, that is my 10 choices. And before we come to your final choice, I just want to point out that Brawl in Cell Block 99 came close to being picked at one point when I was thinking these movies. Map to the Stars, completely with you on that one. Social Network, which I mentioned ages ago, I could have picked. First Reformed with Ethan Hawke, Paul Schrader's movie about the priest, which I absolutely loved.
That was really good.
Shape of Water, which I know a lot of people really didn't like, but I personally did like it. Mandy, again, I hate Nicolas Cage. That absolutely crushes me to say that.
It was beautiful.
Again, a very stylish piece.
Colors.
So movie. There was a whole host of movies I could squeeze in, but I'm very, very happy that with the 10 I've picked. I would have also picked, which I kind of slightly got pushed out at the last second, was Midnight in Paris by Woody Allen, which I do really like. And it's the only, and I'm big, I'm a big Woody Allen fan, but I have to say it's the only, and I say this as a massive fan, it's the only good movie he's made in 20 years.
Yeah.
Which is really sad to say, but hey, I've picked my 10. That is my 10. I'm done. Okay, so.
Are you sure you're done?
I'm done.
Are you really sure?
Yeah, here we go. Hope Wade picks her 10th and final choice of the decade. And the winner is...
You're gonna do... So this is one that we watched recently. Ghostland. Also known as An Incident in a Ghostland.
Yeah.
This film, when we were watching, it has all the elements that I love. Creepy dolls and just the story.
Teenage girls.
Done by the same director who did Martyrs.
Pascal Laugier, French director.
Martyrs was a hard watch at some parts. He has that theme we were talking about. Like he has the same girls. Like there's always like a couple of girls.
Seems to have an obsession with kind of beauty and brutality. There's a real fine line between the two of them.
It's just because I think, didn't you fall asleep? You fell asleep during this film, and I was watching it, and I was like in so high tense. Like I haven't felt like that in a while in a movie. When the tension is just so high, and you're like, oh my god, like what's going to happen? Type thing. It just goes in all these different directions with, this family, a mother and her 2 daughters move into, was it an old family home?
Family home, yeah, family inherited house, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the one girl wanted to be a horror writer of horror books.
Her hero being H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, and then her other sister just was, random bubblegum, girl. And there's like these murders happening in the town that they're...
Yeah, which we were on a radio report, or a newspaper.
It was in a newspaper that, there was these horrible murders happening, and unfortunately they were sought out by these 2 guys that were wanting to kill the family and tried to kill the family. And this girl, you never knew if she was like in conscience, if she was like dreaming these things, because it would go back to her as an adult when she was having these traumatic instances happen to her and her family. Was like she was watching her mom being brutally killed. And And then next thing you know, she's like older and living her family, and her mother's alive, and it has her
she's
going
a successful
back.
writer.
And she's just, yeah,
the perfect life.
Yeah, she has the perfect life. She writes these horror books that everybody loves, and you didn't know if it's like real or not real, because it would go back and she was just her like fantasizing, and it was just beautiful.
And it maintains that kind of level for it, the movie, doesn't it? And it's only by the end of the very end of the movie you kind of fully grasp what is
happening, you know, which I probably just told you the whole thing, but it doesn't matter because you just need to see it, because you wouldn't even grasp half of what's going on until you watch the film, because it just so much happens in this film. And I probably just did give the spoiler, but you know, that's okay. That's okay.
2 things I've got to say about this as well. It's a fantastic choice, by the way, and it is a great movie. I really, really like it.
I loved it.
I have to point out that the 2 killers in it, because it's a pair of killers.
It's amazing.
2 of the most disturbing killers.
Oh my God.
Probably in the history of horror.
Yes.
Because they're so strange.
And you couldn't see one of them for the longest time.
Which is credit to the director.
Yes, because it hit him.
Her.
Who they were. It hid who they were. And so you just seen like this image of somebody, you know, being brutal, and then of course it ties in like the dollhouse, like everything was, you know, had something to do with dolls, like and they were creepy dolls, and
can I just say here in my defense that
that you fell asleep.
Yeah,
I made you watch it the next day though. I was
what I'm going to say to you, right, is if you have 2 young children and you have to unfortunately every now and again share a bed with them via lack of sleep, and then you're wrapped up in the hottest quilt possible and the most comfiest sofa going, it happens.
It happens, whatever.
But I did get it
11 o'clock. You know.
Yeah, and then the next day I kind of
I made you watch it.
I went back to it and I completely got what was going on.
I was like, oh my God, you have to see that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, I think, in a long time. And so that's why that has to be my number 10 film, because it made me feel like that. And I haven't felt like that in a long time with a movie, where it's just like I was so on edge. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Especially, like when you watch a movie and you're like...
Especially for a horror movie. Yeah. Because you've seen that many now.
Oh, God.
I mean, obviously me and you
are
really well seasoned with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty desensitized to most stuff. And that just, it got me. It really got me. Loved it.
So there you go.
Yeah.
10 movies.
Yeah.
10 movies of the decade.
Yeah.
Hope's 10 favourites. Ian's 10 favourites.
I know. And probably that's it.
And yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I cut you off. Sorry.
No, not at all. But like, we pretty much smashed out what we consider to be the best movies of the last 10 years. So it just leaves us with a few things to say before we leave.
I was just going to say you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We have groups. We have a couple groups on Facebook. And, you know, have a happy new year. Like, because you're probably going to be listening to this hungover, like the most of us, which is good because it'll be out there for you tomorrow when you need to watch, you know, listen to something.
Yeah.
And listen to us rant or
and hopefully you're that hungover that you realise that I am a film critic that doesn't fall asleep during one of the best movies of the last 10 years. Also, I want to point out that if you continue listening to this podcast, we've got some big things coming up in the new year, haven't we?
Yeah, lots of big things.
Which we're very excited about, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And I guess that just leaves me to say, for episode 22, Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy 2020. This is gonna be
vision.
2020 vision
2020
right here.
Vision.
That's gonna be our new thing, I think. Hint. But we're going into this decade with some good positive.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. And join us on Facebook so we can know what you want to hear, because we want to know, because we want to get into some music stuff. Music is such a personal thing.
Yeah.
But we do have bands that we kind of want to pin together, you know, like some certain music, because we are huge music fans too.
Yeah.
Besides movies. So yeah, just join in the fun. Let us know what you want to hear, because we'll tell you our thoughts on it. But I don't have a problem telling you.
No, and I know that for a fact. So yeah, Happy New Year, guys, if you're listening. And for episode 22, and for Ian James, this is me saying goodbye.
And this is Hope saying goodbye.
Goodbye.